Hello there.
So if you're coming across this video, one of two things has happened. Number one, you're one of my students, and you want to watch this video to figure out how to do citations the right way. Or number two, it's the day before your paper is due, and you're freaking out. Well, don't worry, Mark Lane's here to help. Because it's the year of our Lord 2020, and God knows you don't need more hard things in your life right now. And one of those things that you don't need in your life is trying to figure out where the right placement of a comma is in APA format. Don't worry, I got you. We're going to solve this problem together using software the smart way. And we're going to use a little app called Zotero, which is free and open source. So follow me and I'll show you how to do it. Alrighty, now, through the power of video editing, I have appeared on my desktop where we're looking at Zotero. Zotero is a piece of software that lives on your desktop and is there to manage all of your citations for free. Zotero actually has a couple of different components. There is a desktop thin client, which you're going to need to download, but there's also a server side to it, which means that you're going to need to make an account. Don't worry, it's free. Just go through the process of logging in and setting your account up. And lastly, there is a Chrome extension. Now you're going to need the three of these working together to have the magic of Zotero work for you. So how does this work? So you download the client to your computer, Windows, Mac, and Linux. There is a web client for Chrome. Here it is. Does the exact same thing. I just personally prefer working with a desktop client. So here is Zotero. This is the thin client. You can't really do much. Most of these buttons, except for the adding manually, will just take you to the web portal, but it's good to know. So here on the left, you'll see My Library. Now what My Library is just a general overview of all of the citations that you have in Zotero. And this is convenient if you're working with multiple assignments at the same time. All right? So if you're working with, let's say it's finals week, which is when this is coming out, and you got several assignments due at once. What you don't want to do is to create 4 or 5 different accounts for Zotero. You're going to just have one master list. What you're instead going to do is you're going to sort by publication. All right? So you're going to make a new publication that says, paper for History 122 or paper for Political Science 101. And you're going to put all of the citations, you're just going to drag them to their respective publications so that you will have a unique list of citations for each and every paper that you write. But I did say there was a Chrome extension, and let me show you the magic of it in action. So I have here a newspaper article that I was reading, and let's say that midway through reading it, I decide, you know what? I like this. I want to quote it. If you've installed the Chrome extension, you'll see that here in the top right, a new button has emerged. And if you click on it, it will save it to your Zotero library. So now if I go to my Zotero library, lo and behold, here it is. It scrapes all of the metadata from the article intelligently enough to figure out, hey, this is a newspaper article. Here's the title of it. Here are the authors, the abstract, the publication house, the date of publication, what section it was in the New York Times, the language, the ISSN, the URL, when I, the reader, accessed it, and where you can find it. All right? It scrapes all of this information automatically. It's pretty smart about it. But let's say you're working with a online journal article, as most of you will. And if you haven't heard of .org, that's a whole other video. But it is one of the biggest repositories of knowledge in the world. And if you're working as a student, this is your second best friend. All right, but Zotero will do a very similar thing with journal articles. So I have here an open source journal article that I just pulled up, a random one. And if I click the Add to Library and I go to my Zotero, it did not work. I do not know why, but good thing that I have a backup. that I'm just going to restore to my library, and here it is. I don't know why it didn't work there, but don't worry, it'll work for you. And it did pretty much the same thing, right? It figured out, hey, this is a journal article, here's the title of it, here's the abstract and the authors, and all of the information it needs for making your citation. But let's say your professor has given you a whole bunch of PDFs, or has given you books to read. Oh my God, the horror! Don't worry, Zotero is here to help with that too. Because if you click this little plus, you can manually insert your citations. All right. So I have here a book that I was reading by Paul Collier called The Bottom Billion. Very good. But let's say I want to quote from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click book. And in every single book, if you scroll, spent too much time on the internet. If you flip through the pages, you will find towards the beginning of the book a copyright page. And the copyright page includes all of the information that you need to make a citation. All right, so let's go from the top. What's the title of the book? The title of the book is called The Bottom Billion. What's the author's name? Collier. First name Paul. All right. The abstract, you don't really have one of those in a book, so we can skip that. It's not a series. It's not a, so we can ignore all of that. It's not a volume. Edition, first edition. Publisher, Oxford University Press. Date of publication, 2007. All right. Language, NUS. And you can put in the ISBN, but you don't really need it. I really would not be concerned about that. Now, it's going to ask for the date, the place of publication. Now, when in doubt, and it's an American publisher. So this book, for example, has several places of publication. But when you're in doubt, almost all U.S. publication houses are based in New York and why. All right? You know, very rarely, like some of them are in D.C., some of them are out in California, but 99.9% of them are in New York. So when in doubt, put New York. And if you're really, really feeling like you want to get this right, Google is your friend. All right? And just like that, it has made a manual citation for a book called The Bottom Billion with all of the information that I need to make a citation. And if I'm referring to a very specific number of pages, well, I can just add that manually. All right? So let's just say I'm quoting page 55 to 58, for example. Cool. All right. Now, while I evangelize Microsoft Word or Pages, realistically, I understand that most of you are going to be working with Google Docs. But Zotero is smart about that too, because if you've installed the Chrome extension in Zotero, you will find that it has added itself to your Google Docs. All right? So let's say I'm typing. All right, I'd like to make a citation. How do I do this? You can press the little Z button right here, and it will add a citation, and it will pull up your desktop client. And what's it going to do? It's going to say, all right, cool, pick a citation. Let's say I want to quote, let's quote the newspaper article, and I would like to add that in APA format, just for fun. All right, language, English, APA format, okay, and should be doing that automatically. EU Oh, here we go. It's E.U. That's why. E.U. Boom. Click that. Done. All right? Pretty simple. And that's why I was having trouble. It was E.U. But anyway, let's move on because, just wait, there's more. If I click Zotero up here and I can click Add Edit Bibliography, it will also automatically make your bibliography for you based on the citations that you have used in your paper. All right, this is powerful. This will essentially make it so you never have to worry about making a citation ever again. And because it saves to your computer, you also never have to worry about things like your internet access. You never have to worry about things like, say, oh my God, it's the day before my finals are due, and I need to make all of my citations from scratch. Word to the wise, when you're doing a paper or when you're reading stuff over the course of the semester that you think you're going to need, I highly recommend making your citations on an ongoing basis. All right, so over the year, every time you're assigned a reading, even if, let's be honest, you don't read it, make the citation for it anyway. Because when you have the time, do the legwork so that at the end of the semester, you don't have to worry about it. You can just click, let's add another citation. Let's just see how this works, all right? Let's add another citation. Let's click Add Citation. It's going to pull up my Zotero app right here. Let's say I want to quote the bottom billion. So let's quote Collier. Boom, enter, done. All right? And it did something rather interesting. It also automatically added it to the bibliography section. All right? So if I just go bibliography, it will automatically populate the bibliography every time I add a citation. Set this up in advance, write your paper, add with Zotero. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about your formatting. Don't worry about getting it right or wrong. Have fun. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, either leave them in the comments if you're not one of my students, or if you are one of my students, email me and I'll try to get back to you as fast as I can. But other than that, hopefully that helped. Let me know if you have questions, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.